Hello, I'm Charlie Horton from Acumatica, and I'm here today with Cliff Hall from Cortekx, a Acumatica reseller based in Southern California. Hi, Cliff.
Good evening.
Cliff, can you tell me a little bit about Cortekx and the market that you guys go after?
Cortekx was founded in 1995, and we started with Microsoft Dynamics SL and Great Plains. At the time, it was called Solomon and Great Plains. Worked with that for a few years, got our feet wet in the ERP industry, took our lumps, got our victories. We chose both because they were top line products at the time, number one in the CPA magazines. But after a while, we figured that Great Plains probably wasn't a good fit for us. We jettisoned that one and kept with SL. But over the years, we grew into a couple others. We tried NetSuite, we tried Sage, and a couple others that just weren't really good fits for us for a number of reasons.
Now, you mentioned that you previously sold NetSuite, and you were part of the NetSuite Partner Program. Can you compare the NetSuite Partner Program and the Acumatica Partner Program you're in today?
Well, it's light years of difference. And the reason being is that I got the idea from the start that Acumatica was more interested in us, and NetSuite wasn't interested much at all. They kind of liked this as a number. The first thing I got from them after about 6 months was they're going to raise our fees for annual support from $2,500 to $10,000 a year, which came as a great shock. Wasn't very pleased with that. They also took a couple of our leads away and said, look, we're going to do the sale on this. Thank you. We'll take it from here, but you guys can do the implementation. And that kept happening for a while. So after about 9 months of that, I just said, I'm just not going to reinstate my partnership. I'm going to look elsewhere. So we meandered around a little bit and found Sage. And that was the next one, and then later on Acumatica.
Mm-hmm. What made you decide to pick up Acumatica as a new ERP?
Well, we had just come from a large disillusionment from Microsoft. Now, we were still Microsoft partners, still are today. But the way they treated their partner channel was as if we were chattel. It wasn't very important. They reduced our margins by, 50%. And it just was difficult. And the support was not there. Then they were actually raising our partner fees also significantly to include items. We weren't forced to actually use those. So we opted for the smallest one, and just got the feeling they weren't really interested in really solidifying a partnership with us. They weren't ever helping us grow. We didn't have a partner account manager. Just got the feeling we weren't really wanted. When we met Acumatica, the first thing I found right from the get-go with Dinesh Jain was that you cared about us. You cared about the partner growing. I'm sure there's motivation on his part too, but essentially we got the feeling that this is the place to go. There's a future here that's going to help us blend our ERP implementation talents and sales talents with a company that really is going to invest significant resources in making it the best product going into the future. And that's what we've seen so far.
Can you describe to us some of the onboarding and enablement process that you went through here at Acumatica?
The onboarding was delightful. We got the right people at the right time quickly. They really adjusted to our schedule, made it easy for us to accomplish what we needed to, provided, of course, we put in our efforts. The training, we got enough training to get to the point we were certified very quickly. We were very happy about that because that meant that we could translate that into implementations for our customers, some of which were on SL that wanted to convert over to Acumatica. And the faster we learned it, with quality, of course, enabled us to actually bring them up too and made them very happy.
So we've had a lot of exciting announcements here today on day one of the Acumatica Partner Summit, specifically Acumatica 5.0. What are you most excited for it?
There's so much I really can't put my finger on one thing. I can look at the progress that's being made as a company and the software maturity is probably what I'm most excited about. I mean, we're in it for the business, we're in it to make money, but we're also in it for our customers. And when I look at what the products are now coming to be, it really solves a lot of the solution issues, or challenges rather, for a lot of our customers. And they can now do things mobilely. I mean, heck, they can sit on the banks of the Seine River in Paris and look at their financial status right there, sipping a cup of cafe au lait. And no other software package that I know of can do that. In addition, as they grow, Acumatica lets them grow with them. Unlimited users, any device, any place in the world, anytime. You just can't beat that. That allows them to be free to grow their business. And to us, that's really important because it comes back as a reflection of us.
Cliff, if I was a customer looking to upgrade either my ERP today or buy my first ERP, why should I choose Cortekx?
Cortekx is a little bit unique in a couple of ways. One is we've invested in a different kind of implementation methodology. Our methodology is based on, let's call it United States Marine Corps ethics and ideas. For instance, training everybody consistently to make sure they understand. The implementation team is led by a man that was a Marine for 25 years. He's been The guy that's leading the implementation team for us has been instrumental. The gentleman that's been leading the implementation team for us has been instrumental in incorporating some of the techniques he used while scheduling resources for the United States Marine Corps in the first Desert Storm. That translates very well to implementation capabilities for Acumatica. Everything is laid out, we have our phases, everything is on time, everything is scheduled, and when the customer kind of falters a little bit, when they don't quite know what to do, we have a backup plan in place to make sure that they're taken care of. That's one thing. The second thing is we're a fixed bid company. We want to make sure the client gets what they paid for without having the cost increase at the end. Of course, if you change the scope of work, that will change. But for what we guarantee is we're saying we're going to implement this thing and we're going to keep the cost stable so you can go ahead and plan on your business and not worry about that kind of a risk. And lastly, we train everybody at least twice. And what we found over the last 30 years is that when we train people the first time, even though they may be excited, they can't remember. They can't remember. So we train them 2, sometimes 3 times and go through a series of pilot tests, which brings them to a much higher chance of a positive implementation than not doing those.
Now, if I'm a customer who's looking for ERP, why should I choose Acumatica?
For me, that goes without saying, but for a partner or a customer that's new to the game, some of the reasons I've already mentioned. First of all, you can grow with Acumatica. The investment in R&D that's being made on a continuous basis, the absolute, what can I say, ambitious desire, the emotion that's put behind Acumatica to make it actually the best product out there, it shows through. It shows to my clients. They've already commented on it. It shows to new prospects as they get to talk to a vice president of partner enablement, perhaps, while they're considering Acumatica. Nobody else does that. And they can really see that Acumatica is a team that's really built on a solid ground, solid foundation, and they back us up, and they know that they've got a good chance of having great implementation.
If you can describe kind of what's your most favorite thing about Acumatica?
The fact that I actually get to use it internally as my own system, and that helps me understand what the customer goes through. The customer is going to see things that if you don't use that software, you may not see on a day-to-day basis. As a partner, it's important to understand what they go through. So while I can give you a list of at least 10 things or reasons, I think the biggest reason is it puts us more in touch with our clients while they're using Acumatica because we use it every day. And we use it for just about everything they're using it for. In my opinion, the way things are going is primarily cloud. In the long run, cloud technology is going to be what's going to unite us all in the ERP world. And to be able to take a platform that's built for the cloud and use that with the incredible flexibility of deployment options that we have that no other company seems to have, plus, of course, unlimited users, you've got a platform to grow with. You don't have that, and speaking from being an entrepreneur myself, you don't have that risk of worrying, gosh, what am I going to do next year? What's going to happen in 5 years? Are they going to be in business? Acumatica has a very strong background, and looking forward, I see nothing more than lots and lots of more R&D that's going to get us and get them more profitable. Because frankly, if they're not using Acumatica, maybe their customer or their competition is.
Can you tell us some sort of war story that you've been out there competing against other ERPs and what you did to win?
I have a couple. Through the years, of course, there have been a lot of competition situations. One recently we came up against Dynamics SL. The company needed something where the people out in the field could be able to enter their time sheets, their time entry, and they would be able to have that immediately show up in the system. And one of the things that we found was that the Acumatica product could do that easily, and I could demonstrate it. And while I was in the demo process, I brought my wife's tablet. I put Acumatica on there and made a couple adjustments, which then showed up immediately in the Acumatica system on the projector that I was showing. And that was impressive for them. Plus, the ability to have project profitability was instrumental for them because they were spending a whole lot of hours every single month to try to figure out what kind of profitability we're making on our projects. And then lastly, the other people who had done demonstrations for this particular engagement really wanted to throw, let's say, anything and everything they could at them. They didn't really focus on what was important to the customer. And in contrast, we decided we're going to listen very carefully to what the customer wanted. We filled out their RFP, which was really a breeze because everything that they needed was readily available in Acumatica. No customization is necessary, maybe one. And what we found was if we just did a streamlined demonstration that showed their pains and then showed what the solution was in Acumatica and then recapped that for them, it made it very easy for them to come to a conclusion.
So if I'm interested in purchasing Acumatica from you, Cliff, how can I get in contact with you?
You can find us at the web. It's www.cortekx.com. You'll find Acumatica prominently displayed on our website. And you can call us at area code 818-593-4777, and I'm at extension 213.
Thank you, Cliff.
Thank you.